moving down to our supports practice. So for supports, the supporting sub-practice, the teacher is using strategic translanguaging moves that can leverage emergent through experienced bilinguals' lived experiences. So at a 0, we're seeing no clear evidence of eliciting or providing a space for students to contribute lived experiences. We always are starting here at the beginning of an observation because we don't have any evidence. And so in order to move up outside of a 0, you need to see the teacher providing a limited space for students to contribute lived experiences, at least a limited space. These experiences are not leveraged, but possibly resulting in a missed opportunity to further learning. And this may involve a practice inhibitor, including the discouraging of multilingual conversations. If so, make a note in your evidence bucket over here. So this would be like the teacher in a very unsophisticated way asking students for their lived experiences, but not leveraging them, where leveraging is like you're really harnessing what the student has offered and like roping it into your instruction, and like braiding it in just to really give lots of metaphors to the disciplinary content. It's just sort of it's one of those one-off things. But they're trying, right? They do something. They recognize like, oh, they're supposed to draw on lived experiences. They're trying. That's going to get them up to the attempting level. Once you get to this, you know you're at this level. You would again write down whatever evidence that indicated that you were at a level 1. And then you would start looking for practice 2. Level evidence, or excuse me, level 2 evidence. So this looks like the teacher providing a caring and supportive space for students to contribute their lived experience in any language or language variety that the teacher then leverages to further learning. So again, I think the primary difference here is that the teacher is leveraging those students' contributions that have to do with their lived experiences outside of the class. They're braiding that in, they're integrating that idea and like harnessing it to be part of the disciplinary sense making. And we're seeing the teacher creating a caring and supportive space so students can expect a positive or appreciative response, right? And so a positive or appreciative response can just be the leveraging, I think. Right? Because we can imagine if you ask a student to share something about their lives, they throw it out there, and then the teacher's like, okay, great, on to the next thing. That doesn't feel caring, right? That feels like you've asked the student to be vulnerable, and then you just kind of shut it down. So we're looking for students have probably had their experiences, their ideas valued in the past, and so they feel comfortable. They're not afraid or timid about sharing their experiences necessarily, to be vulnerable in that way, because they know that the teacher will draw it in and value it by incorporating it into the learning. Okay, so if you see those type of things, maybe it could just be one instance of, at minute 17, the teacher asks students to share about a time when they saw a right triangle. I don't know. And a student goes off and tells a story about a time when they went to a building that their parent was, a builder on, or in construction, or an architect or something, and how they saw people measuring angles and, I don't know, using the same tools they use in class. And then we might see the teacher saying, okay, good for you. Next, that would be a level 1. if the student offers that thing and then the teacher is like, wow, that is so cool, and that's a perfect application of this idea of right triangles, who else can build on that? Has anyone else ever been to a construction site or anything like that? Really integrating it into the conversation, that might indicate a level 2. Okay, so then you're looking for level 3 evidence. So this looks like the teacher providing a caring and supportive space for students where strategic translanguaging moves are employed for students to contribute lived experiences that the teacher then leverages through, I think that's a typo, then leverages. So we're adding layers, right? So this really the main distinction here is that the teacher is using strategic translanguaging moves. For example, the teacher elicits in one language, for example, English, and asks students to share in another, or students share in one language and then clarify in another. So are we seeing students being encouraged to use any linguistic resources to contribute their lived experiences that the teacher then leverages to further learning? Okay, then you would put in your new score. Maybe you're also out of 3. That would be awesome. And I think that's it. We can move on to your practice, I think, in the next slide.